During World War I, Passchendaele was obliterated in the battles fought over 100 days in 1917, and thousands died.
When the war broke out in 1914, the civilian population was evacuated to France. The majority stayed in Normandy. So when the war ceased on the 11th November 1918, some of the civilians came to have a look. And all they saw was an immense amount of shell holes. There was nothing. And people said, no, life will never be possible here again. Half of our population stayed forever in France.
But the fighting quickly created a world completely alien to all. The men who'd marched proudly off to war littered the battlefield. Fighting conditions were just as appalling. Flanders fields lined with watercourses had been churned up by shelling and worsened by heavy rain that just didn't seem to stop. The result was thick, clinging mud that became so deep, in many places men, horses and pack mules drowned in it. The last resting place for those who died in the battle is Tynecott Cemetery. It's a former German bunker that was captured and used as a station to treat wounds and bury those who died on site. It's the largest Commonwealth cemetery in the world. The remains of almost 12,000 men were eventually recovered and buried here. 70% are unidentified. Of the 520 New Zealand graves, 322 have no names. There are 51 identified soldiers with the surname of Smith buried at Tynecott from 5 different Commonwealth nations: New Zealand, Canada, Scotland, Wales and Australia. They could be linked somewhere in their whakapapa, but death is now their shared bond. Visiting the cemetery is another Smith, a young Māori called Chad Smith of Ngāti Kahungunu. Chad and his mates have learnt a fair bit about the men who were of similar age to them when they went to war.
Do you know about this place beforehand?
No, I've never heard of it, but when I got here, I'm really impressed because it's been an emotional experience. All of the men that have died and sacrificed their lives for the country.
They're part of a New Zealand rugby team made up of London-based expats who've been invited to play a special commemorative game of rugby in Passchendaele. They're playing a French side. The All Blacks were kicked out of the World Cup the day before this game, so feelings are high.
So a few of us actually were playing for the unnamed soldiers, so give them a bit of recognition.
Given the prevalent mood of World Cup fatigue and the fact that we're out of the competition, this is all you get of the game. But national pride was restored. Our boys won 36-0.
The First World War is never far away here. There are the cemeteries, 150 cemeteries in this area. There are the memorials, but there are the bunkers. Also, when the farmers are ploughing their fields, 250,000 kilos of live munition is ploughed up every year. The majority is from 1917, of course. Every year we find 40 to 50 remains of World War I soldiers, because there are still 100,000 missing here out somewhere in the fields.
Time shows the example of death in the Great War didn't prevent further wars, but its moral is still remembered by the people of Belgium.